Hello and welcome to yet another exciting edition of Trendz Travel. And today we find ourselves right here in Johannesburg at the Apartheid Museum, where we are planning to celebrate Human Rights Day. Now, despite the fact that it is Human Rights Day, there are very few celebrations and gatherings going on, and this is all due to COVID-19. But because of social distancing, we've decided to find ways that you can still celebrate and be a social butterfly.
Human interaction is once again on the spotlight following the increase in the number of reported cases of people infected with COVID-19. In this age of social media, we socialize 24/7 anywhere in the world. So how do you remain a social butterfly and still keep the required distance? Today we explore ways to keep you on the social scene during this period of social distancing. So you have heard of the term social distancing. What does it mean and how do you practice it in your everyday life? Today I take to the streets of Johannesburg to find out how South Africans are taking basic precautionary measures, including the famous greeting. Let's go find them. What do you understand about social distancing?
Social distancing.
You guys were not watching the president?
No.
So how are you greeting? Have you changed the way you greet one another?
Oh yes, we have.
Okay, do you want to show me how you greet one another? At least you've started doing one thing right.
Yeah.
Sharp, ne? What do you understand about social distancing?
Well, social distancing basically refers to basically avoiding overcrowded areas. Yeah, and avoiding contact as much as possible.
Okay. Tell me, what do you understand about social distancing?
Social distancing mina ngiyayibona mara sekubhlungu la ngale sifo lese corona lesi.
Yeah.
So vele kumele sihlale si aware ngoba sesifikile manje.
Yeah.
Asabuzi vele sesikhona la ekhaya.
Okay. So now have you changed the way you greet your friends? Ubagreeta kanjani?
Mina amachita wami vele iRastafari uyabona. Angithashi angenzi next kumele ngithi Rastafari bese ngiphuma. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, at least you've got one thing right. It's a greeting via Bluetooth. How do you do it? Show me.
Rastafari.
Yeah.
No, angithashi nje mina
Thank you. From the streets to the eateries, South Africans are getting the hang of things when it comes to this new lifestyle. First thing you do here is getting your hands sanitized. And yes, gloves are also a thing here as well. Are you now used to working with these?
Yeah, I'm getting used to it because to keep our hands clean when serving the customers so that we don't have to catch the bacteria and all of that. Yeah.
How often do you change your gloves?
Since I got in today at work, I think it's the third time I've changed it. Yeah. So because I have to keep on changing them because I do a lot of things, so I have to now and then keep changing them.
It might take a little getting used to, but keeping a 1 meter distance is a safer option. So tell me, is this a choice to be sitting here alone?
Yes, it is a choice. In fact, I'm here to wash my car, and I chose Tuesday because I know it's one of their least busy days. I'm here.
Oh, you are not practicing social distancing?
I do practice social distancing. That's exactly why I'm here on Tuesday when there's not a lot of people, and I just came to wash the car.
For those who are not into dining alone, the takeaway option has become a popular trend.
One thing we've realized and have seen was a sharp increase in orders, takeaway orders. That's people walking in to order, take home, as well as the Uber Eats. We've seen a sharp increase in that. The VIP area, which is where we host the events, especially on Sundays, for now, as of yesterday, has been shut until further notice, until the CEO and the team, the management team decides on what to do about it. But that also will be communicated through to customers on social media as we normally do.
The most important thing and always to practice is to take better care of ourselves. So I opted for a healthier option with my meal.
I know that we can all agree that apartheid is one of the greatest atrocities in our time, but we can also agree that in these tough times, the human spirit does band together and it does unite. Another time this does happen right now is with the coronavirus, with Italy being one of the most hardest hit places in the world. And as you can see right now, the human spirit has been lifted as they all sang from their balconies.
E allora sì, abbracciamo più forte, perché pochi se ne fu, se tutto il tempo che passa.
Chi grida più forte? Bravo. Arriva, 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 prima in e voglio capire le signorine che stanno.
We will be back with more of Trendz Travel right after this very short break. In the meantime, do remember that you can catch us on Trendz on SABC, on Twitter or on Instagram.
Genesis proved its extraordinary cleaning power over 17 years. Introducing the new Genesis Hydrovac Extreme 2, a European manufactured ultimate total home cleaner with a unique water filtration system that traps and removes all the dust and dirt to release fresh, clean air. Its unbelievable 22 kVA suction power is further enhanced with this turbo brush. You can also wash and dry tiles or clean wooden floors in seconds. Deep clean carpets quickly and easily, and remove dust mites from mattresses and other furniture. Get the new Genesis from your nearest Verimark store.
ANC and EFF are staging a walkout because they don't want this DA Speaker, Katlego Matebe, to continue.
We can't have a person now that is being investigated and so on. She must step aside and allow the process to conclude.
The real reason why the ANC and EFF collapsed the meeting, the two parties have been negotiating to take over the city.
Our immediate task, which we want to do now, is to get rid of the DA executive in the city.
We took a decision out of that meeting to place the Tshwane Municipal Council, to dissolve the municipality and appoint an administrator.
In celebration of Human Rights Day, we've decided to take you on a mini tour of the Apartheid Museum just to let you know what others have gone through so we can enjoy our human rights freedoms today. Join me.
We are at the Apartheid Museum and we are about to embark ourselves on a tour relating to South African history.
Upon arrival, the first thing you will see are the pillars of democracy, reminding us of where we are now as a country. For the full experience, you are separated as you would have been back in the day, entering into the gate that marks your race or the race you wish to experience. The signage gives you an idea of the measures taken to fully implement segregation. Then we make our way to the mirrored walkway. The people pictured on this ramp are the children, grandchildren, and even great-grandchildren of some of those who journeyed to the City of Gold in the years following the discovery of gold in 1886. Together they made up a diverse and often racially mixed community. It was this racial mixing that segregation and apartheid were designed to prevent. This journey through the museum is not only about the people of South Africa, but about the beloved land as well. Okay, so Christopher, what is significant about where we're standing right now?
Oh, okay. Over here, we've got the grass and everything else that imitates Johannesburg prior to the discovery of gold. Then subsequently, Johannesburg transformed tremendously. Buildings erected. The first Johannesburg Stock Exchange was established in Simon Street. And we've got the tallest building ever to be built in the continent, known as Carlton Center. It was the top of Africa. It has been surpassed recently by the tallest skyscraper ever to be built in the continent, and that is Leonardo's Da Vinci Fountain Center. So it tells you that Johannesburg still has what it has always had, and that is the financial powerhouse of South Africa.
Okay, so this right here is?
This is the Nelson Mandela exhibition. As you would know, that Nelson Mandela is profoundly respected and admired throughout the world as a non-racialism face of the world. So this leaves to attest his greatness, as well as to tell the story of his true leadership skills. So it starts with Nelson Mandela's names and definition of each name. For instance, Roli Hlahla, the one that pulls out the branch of a tree. So in a nutshell, a troublemaker. And we've got the pictures that shows Nelson Mandela when he was in prison earlier on, because after he had been incarcerated, no visitation, no journalism was allowed. So what happened was Rashida Crows, a female artist, painted the first image of Nelson Mandela without seeing Nelson Mandela. She conducted interviews with people that knew Nelson Mandela very well, and they would make assumptions of how Nelson Mandela would be looking like, pencil to paper, and this is what transpired. Later on, when Nelson Mandela was about to be released, she retrieved that old picture that she had initially, and she started to make adjustments, and she finally got it right. And that's the picture that depicts Nelson Mandela after he had been acquitted.
That is the picture that most everybody knows.
That's the picture that everyone knows. So this car over here was presented to Nelson Mandela as a gift, simply because people were jubilant now that Nelson Mandela has been released. It was built by the unions, NUMSA to be exact, which back then was the largest affiliate of COSATU, and they brought forward an idea to bring this car. So the reason why it's red, it's because of red is the color of bloodshed, as well as the color of the union themselves here in South Africa, and not forgetting the color of revolution. So this car, it has been kept here today as a token of appreciation.
So you mentioned earlier that it has about 40 kilometers on the clock?
Yes, it has about 40 odd Ks on the clock, so the car is still immaculate.
And still in working order?
Definitely up and running, and it's V8.
V8?
Yeah.
V8.
A picture that we have here, substantiates how adverse and difficult life has been for the vast majority. This depicts a number of black men lined up before they could attain jobs for themselves. This is what they had to go through. Nothing short of pure humiliation and degradation. Their hands up like this, naked, for several hours. If you brought your hands down, then it meant you were not fit enough to work in the mines. The passbooks were designed to actually control and restrict the movement of black people. And you would know that there were thousands of black people who were educated and highly conscientized. So they would take a government to task pertaining the carrying of these passbooks, because passbook on its own, it was a serious violation of human rights. It was always a fast trip to jail if you didn't have your passbook. Passbooks were designed to actually control and restrict the movement of black people, to degrade black people.
The Apartheid Museum is a stark reminder of why we should celebrate Human Rights Day and the freedoms we received subsequent to the sacrifices made by those who went before us. Did you know that this beautiful country of ours produces some of the best wines in the world, and the Northern Cape is particularly popular for its sweet wines? Nadia had a taste and, of course, a cruise down the Orange River.
South Africa is renowned for its wines that date back to the 1600s, with the first bottle produced in Cape Town. The craft of winemaking has been perfected over the years. And now viticulture is not exclusive to the Western Cape, but other parts of the country. On our Northern Cape journey, we discovered its wine route, situated on the banks of the Orange River, and made a stop at one of its boutique wine estates. The grapes are cultivated here and they make their own thrilling infusions, unique to the rest.
Are you guys familiar with the Blanc Noir? Okay, so technically a Blanc Noir is any red or produce in your lifestyle. So I know some of you guys think it's a rosé because of the rose-colored color, but technically a rosé is a blend from any sweet cultivar. For instance, with Alexandria, or what we most know for a common name Hanaput. Are you familiar with Hanaput? Hanaput in any red cultivar. Then you do the fermentation process on the shell just to dye it basically.
We got an in-depth knowledge on the different wines offered, how they are made, and the most popular in the area, which is the honeypot. The locals like sweet wines, apparently. The most exhilarating was the famous Mampur, and all I have to say is, it's not for the faint. The afternoon was less dramatic and more chilled. We spent it on the Saki Seaki Sunset Boat Cruise. A quiet and peaceful time to reflect on your thoughts and take in the splendor of nature. Or you could take your friends, take selfies and have a jaw. The cruise lasts about 2 hours and is also perfect for bird watching as you meander the river. The river is flat with no bumpy slopes, so there is no need to fear in the capable hands of Saki, who's been doing this for years. The Orange River is his second home, he said. The world stops and you forget all your worries for a moment as you watch the stunning sunset over the trees and disappearing into the water.
ANC and EFF are staging a walkout because they don't want the DA Speaker, Katlego Matebe, to continue.
We can't have a person now that is being investigated and so on. She must step aside and allow the process to conclude.
The real reason why the ANC and EFF collapsed the meeting, the two parties have been negotiating to take over the city.
Our immediate task, which we want to do now, is to get rid of the DA executive in the city.
We took a decision out of that meeting to place the Tshwane Municipal Council to dissolve the municipality and appoint an administrator.
With the colder months coming up, we tend to do away with stuff like our flip-flops, our sandals, our peep toes, and a great alternative is our sneakers. Let's find a way we can dress it up.
Fashion trends evolve with every season. What worked last autumn may be oh so 2019. So, we took our cameras to this boutique for a showdown on how to wear your sneaker down or give it that chic, sophisticated look, depending on the occasion, of course. The sneaker consists of exciting new print, fun textures, and colors to give it that look. Our first look is with fashion influencer Tsepi Vundla.
So my brief was streetwear. So I like being practical, right? Because I'm a mom and like I'm always running errands if I'm not at events or creating content. So I chose a basic white cotton shirt and then a denim jacket because everyone needs to own a denim jacket. And then just a scarf since it's gonna be like a bit colder now with like autumn and winter coming in, and it's just like a quite funky add to it because my sneaker is white, so I think it just works out perfectly.
And now for a more corporate, everyday office wear, medical doctor Dudu Huebane takes us through her look.
I style my sneaker because I am a working girl, and obviously we also want to be comfortable. You can never go wrong with a crisp white shirt with a bit of detail and a black cute skirt, and I mean the sneakers just speak for themselves. Pop of color, pop of accessories, and you're good to go.
Model and businesswoman gave us high fashion.
First I chose my P4448 sneaker, and then I thought, listen, I'm going to bring a bit of New York to South Africa. The whole trend at the moment in New York is like oversized hooded jackets, and so I decided, let me put an oversized hooded golden jacket with a beautiful tweed skirt, and then just to keep the warmth in because we are going into winter, I have a beautiful black long sleeve top underneath. And so that's my vibe, and if it gets really cold, I'll just put on some stockings.
But how practical are the sneakers to these ladies?
I think they are quite practical, and it's very hard to actually find sneakers that are unique, fun. You know, sneakers can be a bit boring. So I feel like I could live in these. They are very comfortable, they are chic, they are gorgeous, they're just to die for.
It's so practical and so important, also because I'm 6'2", so I generally don't wear heels just because otherwise I'm like really tall. Sneakers are also great, and these ones in particular because you don't really get sneakers that have a little bit of glitz on it. So for me, I could wear this with a pair of amazing jeans, I could wear it with a skirt, I could wear it with a cropped little dress, so everything. And sneakers are important also in the fact that they're comfortable, and these are so comfortable.
And fashion tips for this season.
In terms of fashion for autumn winter, I think layering is always a good idea. Also pair with color. Don't stay to the typical nudes and the browns and the blacks. Just play with color, pop up everything, and just accessorize. I think it's so much fun. Like, make it fun and be warm. That's also very important.
So my favorite quote is by Yves Saint Laurent, and he says, fashion fades, but style is eternal. So my fashion tips is find your own unique style. Like I said, I love sneakers, especially the P448, because they are flat and I'm so tall. So follow your own style. Don't necessarily have to follow trends. If you want to jazz up your own unique style with a few trends that are going up, but always stay true to yourself.
So it takes one item to change the entire look in the true fashion sense.
And that's all we have for you in this week's edition of Trendz Travel, coming to you all the way from the Apartheid Museum right here in Johannesburg, South Africa. In the meantime, we look forward to seeing you again next week, same time, same place, but do remember to sanitize those hands, cough into your elbow, and generally keep safe and healthy.
ANC and EFF are staging a walkout because they don't want this DA Speaker, Katlego Matebe, to continue.
We can't have a person now that is being investigated and so on. She must step aside and allow the process to conclude.
The real reason why the ANC and EFF collapsed the meeting, the two parties have been negotiating to take over the city.
Our immediate task, which we want to do now, is to get rid of the DA executive in the city.
We took a decision out of that meeting to place the Tshwane Municipal Council, to dissolve the municipality and appoint an administrator.